everyone, and welcome to this. We're going to call it a CFS recovery chat. And I've got a brilliant guest on the other end, Al from Australia. Welcome, Al.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I know you well, but a lot of people don't. I'd love you to kind of just give like a brief, 30-second intro of like who are you? Um, uh, I hate that question though. It's like it's such a big question, a broad one. But yeah, who are you, and why are you here? That's what I'd love to know.
Okay. Who am I? I ask myself that question every day. And I ask myself that question because I need to tap into where the pull is for each day. So, who am I? So, look, I guess a bit of background history, very short. I joined the program when I was bedbound for about 6 months, I would say, and then slowly integrated back into the world. And who am I today? Was that the second question?
Well, did so you suffered with chronic fatigue syndrome? Was that
Mm.
the thing that kind of you know pulled you into this world in the first place of recovery and all of that?
Yeah, so luckily for me, I watched enough recovery stories to go, you know what, I'm not going to go down the doctor uh, holes and all the holes that I've heard people go down and spend thousands of dollars on. And I'm not going to do that because I've heard and seen the evidence is there that that doesn't work.
Mm.
And what I felt like I needed at the time was, so there was no diagnosis. The doctor just said you just got depression, and I said, of course I've got depression.
Yeah.
Yep. And so then I was feeling very, very alone, and I knew that what I felt like I needed was peer support, and I needed people who understood me and who I didn't have to really explain too much about what was going on. And I stumbled across the free stuff that you put out and resonated very strongly. And I thought, give it a go, give it a go. And as soon as I joined that community, I've said it before, I felt a safety net. So I felt like I was out in the middle of the ocean. I use a lot of analogies, but I felt like I was out in the middle of the ocean, just being slammed by wave after wave after wave. And then what happened as I joined the program was I gained a safety net where I was pulled in and meshed with a community and a program that supported me physically, mentally, big time emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
and spiritually, and all of those components. And I could then go, okay, let's step down this path.
That's such a good entry. Can we just talk for like 2 minutes on the fact of this depression conversation around chronic
Yeah,
fatigue syndrome? Like,
yeah,
it's such a big thing, and so many people are just told like it's in their head, that
yeah.
they're just making it up, that they're a hypochondriac, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so disheartening when someone's like physically actually suffering. Um, if you want to speak to that, just free, yeah. What's your? I'd love your thoughts around that from an encouragement perspective of like it's not in your head, and just like
Mm-hmm.
navigating that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I, I- yeah, I I think that we can sometimes, and I've spoken about this before, we get pathologized in a medical model, and the medical model is really important for certain things,
Yep, agree.
but it doesn't encompass the mind body, and I think that's slowly changing. So what happened was I was pathologized with various labels with a lot of trauma, and I get that that's a part of my journey.
Yeah.
Depression, like crazy labels, panic disorder, all sorts of things. It's like, yeah, okay, okay, yeah, absolutely. But then I was like, yeah, but I knew, I think being a therapist myself, I had the tools and the knowledge to see that there was that perspective, and that's really helpful for a broken leg or something very acute that's physiologically just very fixable in the body. But there is also the mind and the emotional and the spiritual that come with that. So I knew that, and I relied heavily on that to what's the word, to enable me to let go, hence why I didn't go down the rabbit warren of doctor and doctor and doctor and doctor and doctor. And yes, I'm depressed. It's okay. I'm depressed, and that's normal. That's okay.
Pretty sure it's normal to feel pretty crappy, depressed when you can't do stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
Particularly when there's no magic pill that you can get given for it, which is what we kind of hope for as well. Um,
Yeah.
mm. When? What were you going to say?
No, I was just contemplating I think I went off track a little bit.
Mm.
Um, that yes, it's not all in your head,
Mm.
and I kind of wanted to touch base. I was listening to the other interviews you did with Charlie and Sue John, which I found really interesting and very helpful for myself in just further understanding, because I love other people's perspectives on things. And I remember you speaking a lot about baseline and the importance of baseline. And I remember on reflecting upon what was spoken about, baseline was really important for me from the physical, but what was very, very important for me was the mental and the emotional. And I remember very early on in that piece, my baseline was around the emotional and the mental.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So, yeah, this is great. This is a different perspective because baseline for sure is very much physical in terms of structure and routine, but within that structure and routine can be emotional and mental work, right? Mindset and emotional well being.
Yeah.
It was
Because you
too.
cannot disconnect the head from the body. It's interrelated, and there's messages going on. So yes,
Mm. Why was mindset so powerful for you?
I think it gave me permission. The program gave me permission to trust that. It was almost like I talk about the ocean a lot because there's such a pull for me with the ocean, but it was like I was in this boat and I was trying to steer it, and I kind of felt like this was the right path to go down in regards to the emotional and the mental, but I didn't quite have a captain to help me navigate. And once I joined the program, then I had many captains saying, "It's okay, keep going this way, and come back to land because land is where your safe space is. So keep following that." So I was left with a sense of a lot of direction and permission to fall into the felt self. And
What?
hopefully, this is not too woo woo
No,
for
it's not.
people.
No. This is good. This is great. And we've got a bunch of people joining us live here as well. If you're live here, comment below what area do you feel like you need to work on in your recovery at the moment? I'd love to know. What I'd like to know, just on I guess more of a zoomed out lens within mindset, like what was it that you needed to work on? Was it like confidence building stuff? Was it like I'd just love to hear and it might have been in phases. Like was it like more mental mindset stuff, brain retraining stuff, or was it somatic stuff where the coming back into yourself and your body? I'm assuming there's like stages and phases for different things. I know you had some huge breakthrough stuff where you had to have courage and really build that courage muscle too, because you can do all the Dalai Lama work and the calming down the nervous system forever, but if you don't have the courage to step outside of your comfort zone, we can kind of stay stuck forever too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was it in that mindset that got that traction going? Um, it was working on some different approaches that were encouraged within the mentorship, which I had not ventured down that pathway before. And some of the things which don't resonate with everyone, but what's really stuck with me was the Byron Katie work that you spoke about
So
in
good.
the module is just so simple. Coming back to Al, is this 100% true? Can you sit with this and
Yeah.
say that your thought process 100%? So, oh my God, I'm going through a crash. Oh, there, nah, I'm back to square one. Al, can you honestly tell me, and ruthlessly with compassion, sitting with self and saying, are you honestly back to square one? And it's like, oh, nah, not really. Yeah, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Byron Katie, she's like probably 75 years old now. But she has this thing called the work, and so there's like 4 questions that you ask yourself when you're battling yourself with your thoughts. And so the first question is, what is the stressful thought that you're having, right? I'm not good enough, or I'm never going to get better, might be the thought process, which isn't useful. The second question is that true? And in that moment, you might believe that it is 100% true. So you just say, yeah, it's true. My God, nothing's ever going to change. And then the third question is, well, is that 100% true? Do you know for sure, with full conviction, that you know that is 100% true? And usually the answer is no. How do we know that is 100% true, right? And then fourth and final, which is, well, who would you be without that thought? She did a quote recently, which I loved, and it was something like, what would the world be like if you didn't believe any of your thoughts? You know, it's just like, would there be any problems if you didn't have these thoughts right now, if you didn't believe these thoughts? Yeah, and it's like, oh my God, that's just so true.
Yes. And it's a hard space to jump into because obviously you're not diminishing what you're going through. So there's a really fine balance around that. Because no, you're not diminishing the experience, but
Yes.
often I've found myself in the past or the present. And when I really asked and tapped into my inner self, it was a very different story. And it gave me just a sense of relief to drop into feeling. Feeling was so foreign to me. I had never, do you know what? When I was in my 20s, my late 20s, this is quite embarrassing to tell everyone, I had to look up the word fun in the dictionary
Wow.
because because a lot of people around me were going, oh, this is fun, when we do things. And I'd be like, yeah, this is fun. This is good fun. And then I remember very vividly a moment where I was like, what's fun mean? And I remember looking it up.
Wow.
So that's how disconnected from feelings and emotions for me
Like, what
that I.
was actually fun for you?
What does that feel like in my body?
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah? Yeah.
That's cool. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle of recovery. Like there's the physical component of reconditioning your body, which I know you've done, and you live a healthy lifestyle now. I know you do yoga and all that stuff. There's the mental aspect of it, which is kind of getting out of your own way, particularly in the early days of recovery. I think that's really important. And later on, as you navigate new life challenges, but more so the work at the start is kind of like what gets you there to the life stuff of just overcoming life's challenges. The way in which we put the pieces of the puzzle together are different for everyone. Like for you, like you said, it was mindset first. It was getting that piece of the puzzle and slotting it in as the main piece to kind of get the jigsaw together. What's your kind of like? What was your journey? Was it a little bit of mindset, a little bit of physical, nutritional, was it one thing at a time? Just like if you could break it down, just like in a practical way, what did that look like?
Yeah, okay. So I think the first step was feeling. So what am I really feeling? So stepping into self. And by doing that, then I could feel what I could focus on next. So it wasn't chunk size of, okay, I do physical here, I do this there, I did that didn't work for me. So it was the mindset stuff that created a bit of a space and a space of grace so that I could then go, okay, so now breakfast, this is what, and lunch and food. And okay, can you walk from, I was crawling from the bed to the
Wow.
toilet.
Oh
So
wow.
let's like, okay, let's stand up with something and hold yourself against the wall. And just, yeah, those little by little, it was a culmination. It is so hard to explain. And it wasn't that long ago for me, really.
Mm.
And the brain fog was so intense. It's actually quite difficult for me to kind of articulate. So I feel in some ways I'm here going, oh, does this make much sense? But it was a combination, and then reading other people's posts in the community, I'd be like, aha, and all these light bulb moments would be going off for me. Um, and joining the Zoom calls, I'd get just, oh, it's just such a difficult journey to describe. It was, it was
Yeah.
crazy but amazing at the same time.
Why was it amazing? Because like so many people, it was freaking amazing. Like I got to witness it, and I get to have, you're by our side now. You get to work in this world, and you're now helping other people with their recoveries, which is just really cool to see. And you're great at it. So we're super super happy to have you. But like, what was great about it? Like I saw your breakthroughs, I saw your breakdowns, and when you just struggled. But then I saw the light shining again. Like not long after those moments. Like tell me what was great about it.
Yeah, this is where I see it as a paradox. It's such a paradox. So there's the struggle, but then you come through the other side and there's a bit of light. And that other side might be a 5 minute flip, or it might be a week flip, or it might be a month flip, or a couple of months flip. But I kept seeing glimmers or sparkles. And that's what just kept me going, because it's like, holy crap, oh wow, like I'm making progress physically, but I'm feeling life. I haven't lived like, I don't understand. This is amazing. Is this what normal people feel like? Like, and then with that came joy, and that became a big focus for me. So Gemma's one of the coaches talks a lot about the inner child, and she hadn't been let out to play in her whole life. And then she came out, and as you saw, she just was like, oh my gosh, this is exciting, and the permission to be able to do that was wonderful. And I often describe your program, Toby. I know you talk about it as a smorgasbord.
Yeah.
For me, it was like receiving a gift box. And in that gift box, I opened up the lid, and there was all of these keys.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I've got a key for this. If I go and unlock mindset, or if I go and unlock physical, where's the pull? And then, oh, no, that doesn't quite feel right yet. We'll pop the key back in the box, but we'll follow this key and open the door to then step into this space. Okay, this feels interesting. Let's keep being curious about this. So for me, it was very much about the keys, and they're in my hands, and I can just do what I feel I need to do at each point. And I felt the safety to do that.
Mm. I've never heard that described like that before. And can you please use that with all the members from now on? Because that's amazing. Honestly, can you do a video in the hub? That is so good.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like I've never thought of it like that. But it's like
Yeah.
that's a really brilliant way to. It's way better than describing it as a buffet restaurant with different choices, like a gift box with like certain keys for different areas of what you need in times of need, and then going to just get that one key and leaving the rest in the box, knowing that you can go back to that when you need to or want to, is powerful.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it gave me agency because I held the keys. So it then gave me empowerment to go, hey, you've been given these keys, girl. Let's see which one, and let's just follow and let walk it, open the door. Sometimes I'd peek in and go, oh, that's a bit scary. Okay, we'll pop that key and we'll go back to that. Let's go to this one. Yeah.
I think now looking back for you, like I'm thinking out loud, but like now I look at it, you didn't really put the pressure on of like, all right, I'm here now, but Ali needs to be here in 20 weeks time or 20 months time. Like, I feel like you played the game, like you didn't really care about the future that much. Like, it didn't hold much weight, and the day held the weight. Like, your next day held the weight. Is that true?
Yeah. Correct. And that's where the mindset work came in. Because if I'm living in the past or I'm living in the present, I'm not living in the now. Sorry, in the future, I'm not living in the now. And there's that saying, you got one foot in the past and one foot in the future, you're pissing all over the present. But
I just
so
had
true.
I just had an image of that. I mean, you're very good at metaphors, Ali. I've never heard that. Have you heard that?
Sorry about the swearing, guys.
So
but,
good. I love it. One foot in the past, one foot in the. What was it? One foot in the.
One foot in the past, one foot in the future. I'm pissing all over the present. And the mindset work, it's hilarious. And apologies to people who don't find it, funny.
It's fun.
But that's where the mindset work came into place, because I sat in the present, continuously bringing myself back. So when I was in the program, there was no measurement because I'd be destroying the present.
And yeah, healing happens in the present.
I'm glad I gave you a laugh. It's good.
Thank you.
Good for the vagus nerve.
It was so good, and I'm just so glad we got you on as a coach now, because like you need to use that metaphor too. Like, where would we be without Ali's metaphors? This is freaking brilliant. You need to write these down afterwards and post them inside the mentorship group, because I think everyone will find it so helpful. Stop peeing on the present. I like it. Yeah. And I think also like vision is important, like dreaming and where you want to be and your big vision. It's important to have something to move towards, but I think that's the key. It's like you keep it dreamlike and fun-like and childlike, and then you play in the day. And the more you relish in the day, it's almost like the more energy comes to you for the next day, which is pretty powerful. Yeah, I like it. I'm just looking on my screen. We've just got a bunch of people joining Foundations, our 4-week short course right now. And I just want to give a shout out to Sandal. I'm not sure where you're from, but congratulations. Paton and Vicky and Tessa C. You've just joined now as well. Congratulations. Zana Down says, such a great metaphor. The present literally is a gift. Yeah. Hey, Dia. We've got a bunch of free trainings for you if you don't have time or resources to join any paid programs. We have some of the best free trainings in the world, which personally I created and my team created, and I wish I had 20 years ago when I went through this myself. So please enjoy them. You can go to our website and download them all there. They're completely free of charge. It costs you nothing to go and watch those trainings if you'd like. We have a great question from Michelle. She says, how do you even begin to think about your recovery when you have so many other health issues? I love your perspective on that, not from a coach's perspective, just from like a, your own personal experience. What would your wisdom be, your personal experience on how do you even begin to think about recovery? And I feel like you've given the answer for the last 25 minutes. Like, the gold is right there, Michelle, but I'll pass it to Ali and just hear your thoughts.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, when the challenges are so massive, really, softness. I would often repeat to myself, Al, just be soft, be gentle, be kind. Your body, you're not doing like you always do in the past. You've been a doer, you've done amazing things. Like, you've lived 3 lifetimes in this lifetime already. And that's okay, but it's not serving you anymore. So just rest into this. Your body is healing, and give it some grace to do what it needs to do. Everyone is so unique, but just that permission to just go, surrender. Thank you, body, for telling me all of this. I don't quite like it. And another analogy, I'm in the car and I'm driving us to a place of healing. Fear, pain, anxiety, depression, the array of all of the symptoms. Come with me, hop in the back seat. We've got this all together. You've gotten me this far. We're on a new journey now. And I'm driving. And I don't even know who I am, but let's just explore. Just try.
Yeah, I'm just reading the question out again. How do you even begin to think about your recovery when you have other health issues? I think Al said something really great about just at the start of this interview, and it was kind of about it not like not putting that pressure on yourself and not getting stuck into the diagnosis category of I've got this problem, and you're almost like treating your health diagnosis as departments of who you are as a person, and that can be really freaking taxing. I see it on Instagram a lot. We've got thousands of people who follow us, and a lot of people comment and stuff, and their names say it all. Their name is their chronic illness.
And you just sparked something in me. The question, how do I think about, what was it? How do I think about, it was something like, how do I think about getting better when I've got all of these symptoms?
Yeah.
You don't think, you feel.
Yeah, you shift.
You don't think.
Yeah, and I'll with feeling, and sometimes you will need to take an action before you feel anything, or sometimes you'll need to feel something to take an action. One thing I want to suggest to you, Michelle, is pick some things that you can control and start doing them every day. So often when we've got so much shit going on in our lives, we almost try and find more complex things to do, thinking that's the answer to fix the problem. And in reality, the thing that you actually need is to get back to basics. Like the things that you can control, the bare minimum basics of what works for you. And if you don't know what works for you, that's okay. Like, you might be on a learning journey, like Ali was, 2 years ago when she got help. Like, she didn't know all these different things to do. Like, it was, you have to immerse yourself in things to learn that are going to help you propel you forwards. But once you understand these basic concepts and frameworks and little techniques that you can use throughout the day, you can then, as Al said, get the key and literally start the car. And even if you're starting the car for a minute, it's better than not starting the car at all. So my suggestion is like pick some basics and focus on that. And that's what we do in Foundations is really giving you that the keys to starting your car properly, finally taking control of your recovery and not leaving it into the hands of somebody else, which is reckless anyway, and it's irresponsible of both parties. I understand how easy it is to get stuck in the trap, and we all do when we think like, okay, I've got to find someone to fix me. I've got to find the pill and the tablet that's going to make all my problems go away. I get it. We've all been there. But there's got to be a point where it changes, right? The gears shift and they come back to yourself, and you take the keys back and you start your own car. And that's where change happens. And, because a lot of people ask me now, like, oh, is there any supplements, or like, is there any quick, any pills that you could take? And I always laugh and I think, God, like if there was, we'd be giving it to the world. You know what I mean? Like it would be on the website for sale. And that's the problem is like, if you listen to every single success story, not one of them will say it was the supplements or the medication that they're on that got them better. It's never in conversation. That's the craziest part. And it's unsexy. A lot of people don't want to hear it. But the miracle is you. Like the miracle is you. Should be the next cover of my book. Because truly, like, that's what it's about. Is like you have to see yourself as the person that can change all of this. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a couple of weeks. It happens over time. But there's certain things that you can do each and every single day that you can control that can influence your well-being. Anything to add on that? I went on a ramble. Congratulations to Jess A as well, who's just joined Foundations. Anything to add on that, Al?
No, not really, Toby. I think you're just saying, it's the wisdom's within, and that's a scary space because socially we're not conditioned to tap into that.
True.
And that's where it can be a scary and really unknown space, because we give ourselves to the medical world or the psychological world or the spiritual world, to other people, and there's rafts of it on the internet lately, and like, I'll fix you with this magic potion and rub this snake skin on your left leg and then raise your right leg up and then do this. But it's like, no, it's within. And that's where it's hard. Because does that mean? Well, it's different for every individual. Yeah.
Different things at different times. This has been super great and unique and funny. I'm just like, I'm going to stand really wide right now. No, I want to thank you for your time. There's people who are on the fence about getting help with CFS Health right now, and obviously we've got Foundations, which is still open for the next 24 hours before the doors close, and we get started on Monday, which is great. There's about 200 people on this board. I don't know if you guys can see all of the names, and there's many more that haven't been put up yet. What words of encouragement, Al, would you have for someone who's thinking about getting help with their recovery, but they're just unsure and overwhelmed?
Try. Just be curious about what we've been speaking about, what you speak about with other members, other coaches. What actually pulled me really made the turning point for me about the program, because I was going, oh my God, I'm not working, I can't work, I don't have money, blah, 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 blah. And it was actually Charlie Bennon's recovery story. And I just remember her at the very end of that saying, just do it, just do it.
Wow.
And that's all I remember.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And I listened to her story, and there was differences, of course. If we focus on the differences, then
You're screwed.
it's not going to help. So
Yeah.
if you look at the similarities, and there's always something that I could find in anyone's recovery story that I can identify with. But when she just said, just do it, what do you got to lose? And I was like, exactly. If this is my life, I don't want it. And I'm going to start working on whatever. This woman, I've got no idea. She lives across the thousands of miles across the ocean. But she's saying, just do it. And I just went, all right. And thank God I did, because there's an alley now in the world that is full of light and love and laughter. And to some of you listening, you might be thinking, oh my God, she's just like one of those woo-woo people speaking about stuff. But from my heart, I can say that it's so nice to unravel all of the old stuff, which did serve me in my life, but no longer serves me anymore. And and I bring a lot of laughter and fun to other people, and I get that in return, and it's priceless.
Well, you did it for us tonight. Oh man, so good. And you're creating your own ripple effect in the world now as well by the work that you do and the people that you serve inside our community as well. So I want to thank you for that as well. On a serious note, not too serious though. Get those metaphors back out into the world. Thank you so much. Anyone who's watching this right now, then there's still time and the dates are right. Go and click on the link around this page, or you go to cfshealth.com/foundations. Go and check out all the information. There's still about 24 hours to go before the doors close. And we get started Monday. You can see all the bonuses, and you get a bonus 12 months access to all the content. And if you're watching this and the doors are closed, you can apply for our mentorship program, which is what Ali went through, where she helps other members go through as well now. So there is that. You haven't completely lost, okay? Don't feel deflated and think, oh my God, there's no help in the world. There is our free trainings, always available 24/7. And also our mentorship flagship program. So, Ali, thank you so much. Appreciate you, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Thanks for making me laugh. I'm going to call you Ali Metaphor Jenkins from now on. That's your new nickname, Metaphor. Speak to you soon. Au revoir.